ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. This is what spring break looks like, everybody. Welcome to the Spring Break Roundtable. We are on spring break, 10 days off. We are on spring break and it's almost over. No, why? The tease of it all. Hey, everybody, welcome. It's Thursday. My name is Robert Bannon, and you're watching The Roundtable. Tonight, we are celebrating love and marriage with the experts from Lifetime smash hit 16 season Married at First Sight, which I got into recently. And what an insane concept and more insane show. So I can't wait to talk about that with you all. Oh, I remember being married. Hi, Abby Thompson over there in the UK. Happy, lovely roundtablers they are. It's nice to have you all here. And we have a really busy, big show for you. So we might as well get right to it, which means, oh, that's me. There you go. Thanks for that. That means random moments of this messy show. It's the week in review. Well, I think sometimes when I'm off from work, I do more than when I'm working. Because when I'm working, I'm spending 8 hours in one solid place. But I hope everyone watched the show last week. If you watched the show last week, then you got to see our friend over here, Lots of Lattes. Actually, this wasn't last week's show. Last week's show was different. But this is our roundtable talk from this week. We had David Hernandez with our friend Lots of Lattes on. I love to bring people that watch this show on to talk to people that they admire and like. If you didn't see this, it's streaming on YouTube right now. It was a great chat to be able to talk to them. And thanks, Latte, for joining us. And the Skivvies joined us. We called it Bearing It All because they're both naked boys singing and the Skivvies, and you get it, right? So if you didn't catch that episode, make sure you pop and stop and see it now. Hi, Christine. How are ya? Good to see you. My mother says I'm the best ever. And if she didn't say that about me and she said someone else's son was the best ever, I would be insulted. If you want to contribute to this messy show, you can always, I think you could Venmo us here, but it got deleted. We'll put it up for you in a little bit. But let's talk about this week. So first things first, we must say that we got the chance to go to a really wonderful event in Englewood, New Jersey. They reopened the Bergen Performing Arts Center with none other than Jay Leno. And I got to see a couple of my friends, Tom Prohl right there, who's a big attorney, who is number 6 on the New Jersey LGBT power list. Just such a wonderful attorney, and his mother, huge fans of Jay Leno. And then the other couple there are running for mayor of Hasbrook Heights. It was so nice to meet them. And I went with my ex-wife, speaking of married, love and married, because she worked there with me. So she was at the party. So we're at the party and we were told that maybe we would get a chance to interview with Jay Leno. So we were there and he walked into the showroom and it was at a Mercedes dealership. It was the pre-VIP reception. And everyone was kind of shy and quiet because, you know, he's famous and you don't know what to say. So he walks over to me and Samantha and he starts talking to us. And then he asks her what she's drinking and she says a mimosa. And he says, man, I really would love an orange juice. And then he said, do you think you could get one for me? So there's there's Samantha going to get him a mimosa. Congrats. Yep. Married, divorced, and still at the Bergen Performing Arts Center in Englewood where we met 20 something years later. We had the chance to talk to Jay and to highlight the events of this moment. So I'm so excited to show you what a mess. I'm so excited to show you a little sneak peek. Plus we got to chat with the legendary Jay Leno. Take a peek at this.
What an honor. I'm Alexander Diaz, the Executive Director here at Bergen PAC. Thank you so much for being here.
From the depths of the pandemic, when our nation was shuttered, closed, and this theater was closed, it was Jay Leno, with his passionate support for Bergen PAC during our virtual 2021 gala, that he stood high and strong from his garage in California to save our stage. And guess what, Jay? We did it. We do a joke with Jay Leno.
Stage is yours. These are the finest precision scissors made. It's all German steel. These scissors have cut through solid steel, so it should be no problem to cut through this thing here tonight. Before I say this, you know, something like this is like a town library. It's one of those buildings, you know, when people go on the Tonight Show and they do coming here and I say, I played there. I mean, so many of the stars have been here, and it's what they remember when they come to this town. You know, they might remember where they ate, right, but they always remember the theater they played. Cut this ribbon here again. These can literally decapitate you. These are the finest scissors coming out of this.
Ready? 1, 2,
Talk about a talk show, the legend, the man himself, Jay.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations on everything. Congratulations on You Bet Your Life, which I watch every day in the teacher's
Well, I
room.
appreciate that.
It's good to. I wanted to say, what does it mean to come back to Jersey, to come back to the Bergen Performing Arts Center, and reopen this institution?
Well, it's great. It's good to see live theater coming back. You know, I mean, we live in a world of Twitter and email, and you don't have any communications with people anymore. So it's nice to be able to look at an audience. You know, I'd rather do 100 dates around the country like this than one TV special. It's on cable, and you know what I mean? Because you get to interact, and it's just a better experience.
Well, I have to say that I missed a lot of homerooms for staying up to 12:35 at night on NBC, and you are a big part of my growing up, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Yeah, it was so nice. He was such a sweet guy. I've seen his stand-up act before. He's great, and thanks for stopping and chatting. And congratulations to Bergen Pack. Make sure you Google and look up bergenpack.org and find out where what's playing and go support. So yeah, the next day was Easter. I walked the George Washington Bridge as I have been known to do. I love that as an exercise. And they just reopened a new bike path, and we went to my mother's house, and my mom cooked a gigantic meal. She cooked for days and days and days, from stuffing to mac and cheese from scratch, to a ham, to a turkey, to scalloped potatoes, to a whole shebang. Mom was on it. She was on it. Oh boy, Christine, my life is insane. You're right. God bless you. Thank you. Oh, you deserve the best. You're so sweet. I appreciate you. So it was a really, really wonderful day. And then afterwards, I had to stop and see my little Sam and give him his Easter bunny basket. So it was a great Easter. It was really nice to celebrate Easter with everybody. And then yesterday, I had the chance to head over and see Shucked. I saw Shucked the musical, which is a brand new musical on Broadway. We'll have some of the cast with us shortly. And it was so much fun. And this video didn't upload, so I'm going to find it on my phone, and we're just going to wing it. It was so much fun to see Shucked. It was such a great show. It's a trip. It's really, really a trip. And as we were going to intermission, Miss Marilyn May, former guest of the show, was literally sitting in the row behind me. And I went up and wished her a happy 95th birthday. It's always great to see the legend, the wonderful Miss May herself. Go see Shucked. Robert Horn's been on the show. He wrote it. It's great. And we'll talk more about it when Shucked and his performers are here on the show. But it was a really fun time. And then me and Mike headed over, and we had nachos. So I didn't count my macros because I was having a long day at the opening of Fat Ham. Now, you know, we saw Fat Ham. We talked to James Imes when we were over at the red carpet of Life with Pi. He's the best. We love and stand for James Imes. So Fat Ham opens from the public. Here's the opening night playbill right here with the stamp and all, at the American Airlines Arena. And we were there on the red carpet. I can't wait to show you, and saw the show. I can't wait to show you all the interviews when they're edited this weekend. But go see Fat Ham on Broadway. It's Hamlet in modernized version. And we loved it when we saw it at the public, and we love it on Broadway. There we are at the carpet. And I have to give a big giant shout out to my friend Mike, who worked the camera. It was his first time on the carpet, and it was as chaotic as ever. Look at this show with the confetti, with this cast. They are acting and living their best life. There's James Imes right there. Big shout out to the Polk team. There's my friend Lauren holding the Hamilton skull. But we saw a lot of people there. The whole cast stopped by. Marcel Spears, who you may have seen on The Neighbors, with Cedric the Entertainer. There's James. We're having a good old time. The whole cast stopped by and chatted with us after the show, Calvin, and we got a chance to speak to them all. There's Nikki, and there's Rima Webb, who was on my other show when we talked about The Color Purple. She just came out of The Music Man. So stay tuned for all of that. Plus, we saw all the special guests that were on the carpet. Jonathan Bennett, our friend to this show, Antoine Hopper. We were a mess. The director of the show, Kenny Leon, Emmy and Tony winning director. There's Jordan Cooper from Ain't No Mo and the Miss Pat Show. There's Ryan Jamal Swan, my friend. Audra McDonald, the 4-time Tony winner, spoke with us, as well as her husband, who is playing Neil Diamond right now on Broadway. He's from Dope Sick and he scares the bejesus out of me. Jelani Alad. So all of these, Jason Michael Webb, who's a music director extraordinaire, all of these will be up this weekend. So we have a big, giant fat ham bonus moment for you. A piece of ham, spiral, pink, delicious Easter ham. A week later will be up this weekend. I can't wait for you to all check out our chat with the cast of Fat Ham. It was really wonderful, and I loved it. And Joel, if you're not following Joel Crump, he is a red carpet correspondent who is amazing, and he does such a great job. His mom actually takes him up from DC to do Broadway show openings, and his mom runs the camera for him. It reminds me of my mom, who would drive me to New York and always support me and buy a ticket to every show I've ever done. And when I saw her supporting her son and his dreams to be a performer, it just moves me so much. So make sure you go support Joel Crump if you can. And yeah, Lupita Nyong'o was there. Look at Lupita. She didn't talk to anyone on the red carpet, but she's stunning. Black Panther, Oscar winner herself. Didn't have anything else? What else happened that night? And then Mike went and got a pretzel, which is always good. So it was a really special, really fun night. You want to see what it looks like on the carpet? It's chaos. Look at this. Look at what this is. The red carpet. Here you can see there's time wrestling and lots of craziness and insanity. And this was the after party. And as you can see, the cast will line up there and everyone will line up. But the best part of a Broadway show to me is now that you can film curtain calls, right? So look at this curtain call shot. The energy, there's nothing like live theater. That's what we have. We have this show. This whole purpose to give artists a place to make it. It's such a great honor to be a part of this community, and I am incredibly honored to be a part of this community and to be a little part of this show. So thank you all for being here. It was definitely something special. Yes, look at Mike Melfa go, Mike Melfa. Yes, hello, Darius Wheeler. This one's for you. This show is just for you. We didn't even get started in the crux of it all. So thanks for joining you. But we did talk about you in the pre-show. Isn't Joel incredible? Joel is so great. Give a big shout out. We love Joel. Hi, Kenyetta. Welcome. Hi, Kenyetta. My friend. You have better days ahead. This is going to be the best Easter ever coming up. This coming one. We're a mess on this show. So it's time now for our... I'm so distracted by you all. Let's have a shameless plug.
Because I'm shameless.
Well, now that I talked about everyone else's show, can I talk about mine? I have a show too coming up. The Broadway Lecture Series rolls into town Saturday. And I am telling you, I'm not going. Jennifer Holliday will be with me live. That's right. The original Effie White, Tony and Grammy winning superstar. Jennifer Holliday joins me on the Broadway Lecture Series live. You can get your tickets at stageworksnj.org. Yes, Carrie Butler and Eden Espinosa and Elphaba and star Beetlejuice are coming in the following months, but Jennifer Holliday is coming Saturday at 7 p.m. She's flying here from Atlanta. She's doing this one night only. One night only. One night only. Come on, big baby, come on. I love this freaking show. And I love Miss Holliday so much. She is a wonderful person, and I'm giving you a special deal if you can wiggle your little selves over to New Jersey and go to Stageworks on Saturday. If you use the promo code Happy Holiday with 2 L's, we're giving $15 off general admission tickets. That's right. Happy Holiday with 2 L's. Get yourself a seat to see Jennifer Holliday tell her story in a way she's never told it before, coming to you this Saturday live. for an hour and a half, and she's taking your questions and she'll meet you. So do not miss a moment. And then if you just can't get enough of this little face, a photographer said I grind my teeth when I smile. So I'm supposed to go like this. Weird. But maybe they know better. Check me out at 54 Below. I'm opening up Pride. Before we announce where I'm going to be for Pride, I'll be in Detroit. I'll be in here. I'll be there. But I will be in New York City on June 2nd. Use the code Bannon5. Get your tickets and go to 54below.com. And we're going to have special guests and we're going to do a brand new show. The press release was just written. And thank you so much, Belle, my assistant, who's been a wonder. And if you want to see my magical mess and celebrate with rainbows and butterflies and flags and fun and drag and divas, and I'm singing everything from Celine Dion to Cher to Whitney Houston, then you need to come on down to 54 Below and come to 54below.com. There you go. I think I did it. I probably forgot something, but we saw Jay Leno. We've done pretty good. We did well. Yes, Janelle tried to come to the Jennifer Holiday show, but there's no train that goes there, and it would take you years. Yes, come on to Detroit. We will have a whole show about Detroit. We will have a special show. We will start promoting Detroit. So Detroit, come on down to Motor City Pride. Maybe you'll see me there, and we'll be talking about it for sure. We'll have Faygo soda. We'll have better made potato chips. We'll have a coney dog. I don't know what else. Detroit style pizza, which is Sicilian here, but whatever you all do there. So I'm excited about all that's to come. Hey friend, hey, is that what we're up to? Yes, we are. Hey friend, hey.
I'll be there for you. How you doing?
So our Hey Friend Hey this week is for our friends of the Kinsey Six and our friends Lots of Lattes. Janelle was at the show and they only made 3 Kinsey Sixes were there. The other one was missing, but it was so funny when they were on the show last week. She wrote and said, hey, you're coming to Annapolis. Didn't even know that they were going to be in Annapolis the next day. So she headed on down and like a good correspondent for our show, she took the selfie and we have a missing Kinsey. But thank you, Janelle, for doing your due diligence and your homework, for being a part of the whole experience and showing the Kinsey Six. And we hope you see them when they're in your neck of the woods for sure. So make sure you check out the Kinsey Six. And thank you, Janelle, for doing double duty. As you know, she hosted the bonus, and we'll have other guests hosting the bonuses as well. Guest Kenyatta, now that's what I'm talking about. A chili cheese fry. I love it. A cheese fry, anything. Anything tastes good with cheese. Well, that's not 100% true, but you know what I'm talking about. You get the gist. And back at you. Thank you so much for being there. Well, a couple of months ago, I was told by Darius Wheeler, who is watching the show right now from Detroit, that he was watching during his lunch break in his car this television show called Married at First Sight. And I was like, it's trashy, messy reality television. I'm not going to watch. And he watched the season and talked about it. And then I fell in love with the idea. We love love, right? We love love. We maybe not love marriage. We've been there. But we love marriage when it's good. And I know many of you have been in love, and many of you are married. And many of you would like to be in love. And many of you would like to be married. And many of you would like to not be married anymore. Well, we have 2 of the best voices that you can possibly have to tell us all about what it's like to fall in love on TV, what it's like to fall in love in general, and what we're doing wrong as a society because we're getting divorced. I love cheese too, and I love love. And cheese, and you can incorporate cheese with your love in a safe, cleanly way. Maybe. Anyway. The point of the story is that Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal are here. You're going to hear me talk about Boo Darius and in this intro. But I was going to put on the outfit I wore when I filmed these interviews. But when I filmed these interviews, it was negative 62 degrees in New Jersey. And now it is 107 degrees because global warming is real. And everyone needs to remember that. So don't mind the key change. It's like Cher. It's like, woof, presto, changeo. The experts are here from Married at First Sight. Dr. Pepper Schwartz is up first. Watch this. Oprah, the New York Times, the Washington Post, Dancing with the Stars, TED Talks, GMA, The Today Show, The View, Glamour Magazine, the new bestsellers list of books, 25 books. And my obsession over the past few months, Married at First Sight. I may have been binge watching it, and I may have made it through season 11. Dr. Pepper Schwartz is here. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me and for such a nice intro.
Oh, no, I am such a fan because I love love, and I'm fascinated by relationships, and I've been fascinated by this show.
Well, I have too, so I don't blame you at all.
I was reading about you. You have your PhD from Yale, you know, your Washington University bachelor's and master's, 25 books.
Yes.
And you have studied you've studied age and sexuality and relationships and the self for these years. What made you fascinated with this line of study?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. I know it was from a very early age. I think I'm just a very gregarious and curious person. And so, you know, pretty much I was having little groups in my Knotty Pine basement when I was 11 talking about sexuality. And in that case, you know, sort of coming of age and puberty, and had a little newsletter that I would hand out at the school about, you know, various things. And I like to write at an early age. It's a form of self-expression that I find like an adventure, like traveling in my own mind, seeing what's in there. So I think, you know, just like, you know, why are some people good at math, or, you know, want to see, you know, how to get a rocket to the moon? I don't know. There's something in all of us that may get, you know, triggered and tricked into a certain pathway without our consciousness, and then it becomes very reaffirming. And if it's the pathway that we're good at, then you know, we get rewarded for it, and there's the story.
Yeah, and there's the story, and it's become your life's work. Do your professor, you're at the University of Washington, do the students watch you on television? Do they get a kick out of your media career?
Well, I just retired from the University of Washington after like 50 years. I mean, if you can believe that, it's true, 50 years. And it was fine until, probably a few years ago, where I'd find people waiting outside the room I'd be lecturing in who weren't in my class, who wanted an autograph. And that felt strange because I've always kept my academic world and my TV and popular world a little bit separate, but Married at First Sight became such a hit that the two kind of smushed together.
Yes. Oh, if I was in the school, I would be waiting for that selfie outside of your class too. Well, when they came to you with the idea for this television show, what I was going to get on you because I said my controversial question was to you. Sometimes when you're matching couples, and we spoke to Pastor Cal the other day, and when we're matching couples, you believe the best in people. You think you're the one that says, I think they're going to rise to the occasion. I think they're going to do a good job. And I sometimes want to say, oh no, I'm scared, Dr. Pepper. What is it? What was it like the day they said, this is a premise, and would you like to be a part of it?
Well, I had to think about it a lot, you know, as it, on the one hand, it seems familiar, you know, like there's arranged marriages throughout the world. On the other hand, we don't have a cultural background for that. But I thought, given that one of the huge complaints among dating people is to try and find somebody who actually wants to commit, who really wants to make this thing go forever, then I think I could understand why, okay, let's try and narrow it down to people who promise, A, this is the focus, this is what they want to see have happen, and B, the other person will know that they're equally committed, that they both want to do this. This isn't just, you know, hookup or let's just see what happens, but rather the main point is a lifetime commitment. Well, maybe that will make people act better. Maybe that will people act different. And since there was no cultural background, but I did know that if somebody says, okay, this is it, you know, my parents may have arranged it, but this is it, I'm going to make it work. why couldn't we give it a shot and see if we could at least solve the problem of why is this person seeing me? What do they want? If we could at least solve the problem, like we both have the same goal, whether or not we reach it, of course, is another story, and that's harder than it sounds.
But you have success stories. You have married at first sight babies and families that are put together because the experts match people.
Well, we match people who really were willing to put in the work. We can match people who, bring all the same problems they used to have right with them, and then don't listen to us and don't try and see what's there, and that doesn't work. But in fact, the premise has worked for some people, and that is an utterly satisfying experience when you feel like you've changed people's lives for the better. And by the way, I also find it satisfying when it doesn't work out, but the person realizes what they've been doing badly in the past, stops doing it, becomes a better version of themselves, and is more likely to succeed with someone else in the future. So either way, I'm a happy camper, but of course I'm happiest when we set them off to enfold each other in their futures and create families as well.
Yes, well, one of my favorite episodes every season is the episode where you go into their homes and you go into the drawers. And those nightstands are dangerous, Dr. Schwartz. You go into those nightstands and you get a feel for these couples, but you all get attached because you're really available to them. You really are there to make this work.
Well, true. I mean, one is we don't show all the things we find in those nightstands. We can't, I won't say, but they are definitely things we can't show because, well, lots of reasons.
Yeah.
But those things, seeing how people live, not just their nightstands, but even, what they buy, what they don't buy, what they have, what they don't have. Those things tell us a lot about each other. And we are there for them. We do check in time after time because they need us. I mean, if they didn't need us, they wouldn't have put themselves on this show. So we try and be there for them. I sometimes think, how many more marriages would live if they had people like us who were like there for them all the time? Yeah. You could call them, you could find them really quickly. I think there's so much more help that people need that, obviously we can't provide all of it. But I do encourage people to go get help because they may have a lot more possibilities than they think to do at any given time.
Yes, I love my therapist. She can buy a house down the Jersey Shore with how many sessions we've had about love and relationships. But for me and my partner, we watch the show together because I think that it is a great opportunity to see other people's communication styles, the way that they speak and their expectations. And it kind of opens up conversations within your relationship to say, did you see the way they did that? And I wouldn't do that. And I like this. It really gives us a chance to have sometimes uncomfortable conversations we can't start, but because we watch it on TV, it's a good reflection of our own relationships.
Sex educators have this term called teachable moments.
Yes.
And I think we give a lot of teachable moments where you go like, oh, I would never do that. Your partner says, well, maybe you do. Or you would find that that you do that, and you can see it on somebody else and you can talk about it. Or you can come up with like, well, I wouldn't have said that, but well, what would you say? And how would we handle this? And so I think it is a great thing for couples to operate off. And whether the couple is your same race or your same gender or your same stage in life, the fact is we're humans together. We can learn from one another.
Yes, you can't say it better than that. Well, we're watching. We're up to season 11. We're getting to Nashville. We're not there yet. I know that Nashville is on now, and you just finished there. It is. It's on Lifetime, and you have seasons on Netflix, and you can watch it on Amazon. It's everywhere. So just watch, take a peek, and it's a wild ride. When you I was married. I call them my straight days.
You're a Renaissance man.
I'm 16 years. Who knows the next chapter will be? But
I'm now worried about your pets.
Right. But I love the show because like what we talked about and you getting attached to them. Do you ever have regrets? Do you ever look back at the end of the season and say, there are other people we could have matched and you didn't take this seriously or you weren't here for?
I wish that didn't happen, but it does, and it happens kind of often. There's almost every season there's somebody like, who is this person? Why didn't they? How did they get through all the battery of tests? How did they get through the multiple interviews? What is this thing that's emerging in them? And then I really feel bad because it's rare that I feel that way about both people. It's usually just one. It's happened a couple times with two, but usually just one. And then I feel so bad. I really feel so bad for the person that, we matched with the wrong person. And I wish we never do anything cynically, but sometimes we just think like, how could we have missed that? How did we not see that? So yeah, we're into personal and professional growth ourselves to try not to do that.
But it makes such good TV. But but I know that's not your intention. But
no, your good TV is my sleepless night.
That's true. I get that. Well, why, you must get asked this question a lot. Why do people have a hard time finding people nowadays? What is it about our communication or our world that so many people can't find a partner?
Well, part of it, I think, is we look for too much. I mean, we expect people to be, a list of 20 things. And then when there are only 17 of them, we go like, I'm moving on. I think we're too entitled. We have too romantic a vision of who could be a good lifetime partner. I think we're spoiled. We haven't lived through a war maybe or understood what it means to have someone who has your back, who's a good human being, who could actually care for you. But we want everything else, the other 50 ideas. And, that's nuts. I mean, I think that's what's really undermining our ability to find a good person and together be better than we've started out.
Yes. And you guys say it all the time. It takes work and a commitment and forgiveness and you keep trying and be there for one another. Well, you've written a lot of books to help people on this. And thank you, before we get carried away, the books, like the studies that you've done for the queer community, and you've been an ally for research on queer relationships in a time when not many people were studying this. This is
100%. I love humans in their various forms. And to me, the fact that people can find who they love, that's my first love myself. And secondly, I'm a civil libertarian. How dare the world say who we could love or get in our way or not give us full rights, each and every one of us. The person I wrote, American Couples, it was a study of 12,000 couples married, living together, same-sex female, same-sex male. It still remains one of the, if not the biggest study of same-sex couples in terms of its depth and its reach and numbers. I testified in the gay marriage cases. My colleague and dear friend of 20 years, wrote American Couples with me, was a gay man, and he and his husband, who couldn't be a real husband married then, but his real husband in love. His husband was my son's godfather, and they both passed away from AIDS, which was tragically not centered on soon enough to save enough lives. I mean, I am proud to be a defender of love and relationships and civil rights. And, I did do that early, but, I come from a family which, believes we all deserve a fair deal. So I'm proud of that.
Well, that means a lot. And it really does help people to understand something that they may not know. And looking at your litany of books, I've pulled some like they're available on Amazon right now. You can go get the books on Amazon. You can go to pepperschwartz.com if you want to see a list of all of the books. But like, we all need these books, like Adventures and Advice on Sex, Love, and the Sensual Years. Prime. I'm going to turn 40 this year, Dr. Schwartz. So I'm not over yet. It's not over.
I'm in my 70s. Hell, it's not over. It doesn't ever have to be over.
Okay.
My newest book is called Relationship RX, which I did with Jessica Griffin, who was also on the show for 6 seasons and is a dear friend. So no, I mean, I believe at all ages that if we believe in ourselves and our capacity to love and our best capacity to enjoy our bodies, that, you know, it should never be over. We're the caretakers of ourselves, and that means not just so our body changes. This doesn't mean our psyche can't incorporate that. You know, I often feel that it's not that there aren't real barriers in the world, but sadly, we're often our own worst enemies. And so we just have to be our own best cheerleaders, and we're going to do great.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. And as someone who has divorced parents who are of a certain age, I literally was like, my father needs this book right here. Please, then I don't have to go over and do the dishes and take him to dinner on a Friday night. You have literally, I mean, if it's love between equals, or the 50 great myths of human sexuality, you have really studied something that is so human and so much of us all. And sometimes sexuality, school, it's a buzzword in politics. They think it's being taught in schools in a certain way, or that people are afraid to talk about it with friends or family. Why is it such a stigma, and how can we break the stigma of this evil term sexuality that is so human amongst us all?
Well, this is one of the ways we talk about it. We enjoy it. We tell people we enjoy it. Actually, I'm very proud to say that the University of Minnesota, the medical school, has now an institute on gender and sexuality, and they've raised money for a Pepper Schwartz professorship on sexuality and aging. So part of my mission these days is to make sure that people understand this is a lifelong gift that we should treasure. And it means that I have to be out there talking about it, encouraging it, and saying, you know, no, your body doesn't look like it did when it was 25, but your brain's much better. And you can tell your brain can help you enjoy each other without, you know, being stuck at some fantasy picture of what you need to look like or what your partner needs to look like. I think if we can get past our own self-governance that sometimes leads us the wrong way, you know, we can have a life that embraces passion for all that life. And I say that, you know, like my husband and I, we have dates. You know, we take days where we go and we just get a room. You know, it's just we're not going to let go of that. And I don't want anybody to let go of it. And I know sometimes with all our, and particularly in the gay male community, you know, where I'm trying to think the phrase, it's kind of like sort of anticipatory aging, where gay men are more likely to think they're older than when they're, you know, at a younger age than other men, because they have to deal with the male gaze, which is a more critical one. And I think that's something to work on, because that terrorizes people who get older. And I know lots of wonderful older men, you know, who have, in fact, by their personality, by their spirit, by their energy, they've had great sexual lives, you know, way past middle age. And I think that's important. It's important to say, you know, I'm not going to be governed by all these cultural stereotypes. I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to figure out what I can love in another man or another woman or whoever we are.
Oh, no. Now you're going to make me want to get married again. But stay away from my nightstand. That's
Hey, you're safe. You're probably safe. I hope it's very creative and inventive.
I'm gonna have to now think about it. That's a challenge. Everybody watching, this is a challenge. You are such a pleasure, and I promise you that I will not randomly email you when I have a fight with a partner and tell you to mediate. I promise. Everybody that wants to find more information, go to pepperschwartz.com. You can follow Dr. Pepper at Dr._Pepper_Schwartz on Instagram. And the books are available. Go to Amazon right now. There's many that fit any type, age, stage, and relationship that will help you find love. And of course, Married at First Sight is on Lifetime. Find it, stream it, watch it today, and have a conversation with your loved ones about it, because it's great television, and it really will teach you something. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your work.
Well, thank you. You've been a doll. I've really loved it.
Thank you so much. Well, there she is, Dr. Pepper Schwartz, telling you to keep it hot and popping no matter what age and stage you're in. So you have no excuse out there. Start your engine. I love her. She made the mistake of calling me before the interview from her cell phone, so I have her number. So if anyone needs a question about like who gets the remote, do you get divorced over the toilet seat being left up, you know, things, important fights and arguments, we'll send a message right to Dr. Pepper. Thank you, Dr. Pepper. Well, the other person who's been on the show as long as she has been is Pastor Cal, and he had the chance to stop by from his church in Georgia. Take a peek at this special little chat here with this personality and character we've grown to love. All right, so in full disclosure, like I've told you all, that my special person, my boo, my person told me that I needed to watch this show, and that was all going to be our little watching party together. And I'm up to, I think, season 12. And at some point I said, I need to talk to Pastor Cal. I need the experts. I'm obsessed with this show. You know, we're talking about Married at First Sight. He's a fascinating life story. He does amazing work. And I think I've learned a lot about relationships, the good, bad, and the ugly, just by watching. Ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Cal is here. Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
I am so excited. I feel like I've sat in therapy sessions with you and counseling sessions. Truly. Well, what can I say? Firstly, I read a lot about you. You have quite the life story.
Wow. Yeah. Sometimes it seems a little more complicated than I imagined. Yeah, but it's a lot.
Well, you're from Virginia.
I am.
And
very proudly.
Yes, East Coast stand up. I'm here in Jersey, so we're on the East Coast. You have a bachelor's. Your bachelor's is in not only in
theology.
Theology. There you go. I wanted to be in music as well.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
And then you go get your master's degree, and you go get your master's degree in divinity, and then you go and get a law degree. Pastor Cal, did you ever sleep?
I know. Well, in all fairness, I actually went to law school.
Okay.
I quit law school. So I did not graduate law school because I hated. I literally hated it.
I understand.
So I left law school, and then for about 12 years, I was actually a stockbroker with a Wall Street firm. And then after that, I got back into the whole ministry thing.
Yes, and you've been sharing this ministry, and you have your own practice. You can go to calvinrobertson.com for information. You counsel, you do speeches, you marry couples, you do a little bit.
All right.
You run his own house of worship with his beautiful wife. You can go and follow him on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
And, so how did you're living your life? You're helping couples. You're a relationship expert. And do you just get a phone call, an email? How did this, and what was your thoughts when you heard the idea?
I know the whole Married at First Sight thing. It's funny because, Robert, we were doing our thing. You're absolutely right. We're living our life. We're doing our thing. And, we're having marriage and relationship conferences. And we had an online presence. And it was an email that we received, and my wife looked at the email and said, it's probably spam. And said, wait, let's look at it. So we looked at it, and they were asking us to help them find a couple for a different show. And that show was actually, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, I think it was 7 Years Switch or something or another. Okay. So we helped them find a couple for that show, and they accepted it. The couple was having some serious struggles. They said they would get free counseling. We're like, okay, great. And so what happened was that this couple kept talking about us and what, they had learned from us. So the production company figured, hey, let's film them in a counseling session. And that was the actual beginning. After that, things just started to sort of, snowball. And it's been a wild ride, 14 seasons later.
14 seasons later, you've been currently season 16, which is right here in Nashville. People are guessing, people are wondering what's going to end up happening. Woo, it's a journey. You can put
wow.
Well, can I ask you a couple of questions about the show?
Absolutely.
Relationship in general? How long, question not about the show in particular, but the show, obviously the setup is you get married and meet at first sight right from the go. When you're a traditional couple, is there a certain time frame that you think people should call themselves boyfriend or girlfriend, get engaged, get married? What is the rules?
Wow. And that's a great question. I have seen everything. You know, from one couple that I met them. They had been married 35 years when I met them, and actually they met on a Friday. She was a model in Ebony Fashion Fair when it used to be touring and things.
Sure.
And that was on a Friday. They met. He proposed to her Saturday, and they were married on Sunday. And they were married for 35 years. That's an extreme case, okay? And then you have others where people have been dating for years and still haven't been married. My wife and I, we were together. We dated for about 6 months before we got married.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's any real.
Well, they are.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any real rule as to how long you should be together, but I do know that you should be together long enough to determine whether or not this person has compatible values with you, whether or not you guys have explored each other enough to know whether or not you have compatible differences. You know, whether your yang is their yin, and et cetera, et cetera. So the rules are all over the place as far as how long you should be together.
Well, when you go on the show and when you're starting a new season, you vet thousands. I read somewhere that it was over 80,000 people have auditioned.
Over 80 right now. Yes, over 80,000 people. It's crazy. That blows my mind.
Blows my mind as well, but it's great entertainment for us. And so when you sit down and you have this, you personally vet these couples. Is there ever through the journey, I read other interviews with you, most of the time you feel people do this with genuine intentions. They're not there to just build social media followings and become famous. They really tell you they want to find a husband or a wife.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have your outliers. I mean, there are people who are trying to further their career. We normally, before they get to us, they've kind of weeded that out. Our casting department does a really good job. Let's say, for instance, in Nashville, let's say if we got, this maybe somewhere in the ballpark, if we got maybe 2,500 people in Nashville, it may have been that many. By the time they get to us, we've sort of narrowed it down significantly. When they get to us, we're at a couple hundred maybe. And then we spend the entire weekend interviewing those people. I mean, the first go around is just, we're meeting you just for a few minutes, and we are literally from sunup to sundown, just meeting people. And then after that, we sort of weed some people out, and then we call back for the personal interviews. And then we go through psychological counseling. You have to sit in front of psychiatrists, a whole battery of psychologists, 2 different times. Their background checks, and then their deep dive background checks. And then we have to do health evaluations, And then in addition to that, just to sign on, if you were to go to castingcrane.com and look to sign up, you have to fill out a 75 question questionnaire. Then after that, you have to fill out roughly about a 560 question questionnaire, because we want to know everything about you. And then we have to get pictures of your exes. We talk to family members. I mean, we go pretty deep.
No, not pictures of my exes, Pastor.
We get pictures of, yes, Robert, we would have pictures of your exes. Yes.
So you you sit down and you then create these couples, and we see some of it on camera. You and Dr. Pepper and yourself, and you sit and you create these couples. Is there ever a moment where you doubt and think like, oh man, I think this is a mistake? Do you have regrets when things go a certain way?
Sometimes it's like this, and I'll just full disclosure here. I believe that by the time we decide, we're pretty confident. Now, do we feel as though every match is perfect? Absolutely not. I don't think there's such a thing as a perfect match. They don't exist. But we do believe that if they can overcome some of the challenges, that we might foresee, that they'll be good. For instance, if someone says, hey, I don't want a man under 6 feet tall, which is ridiculous to me. The average height of men is what, about 5'9", 5'10"? But everybody wants a 6 foot tall man. It's not going to happen. So if we find you someone who's 5'10", but they're perfect for you, if you can overcome that, or for a guy, I want somebody, she's got to be like, wafer thin, like this, it's like, but no, we can't find anybody who's absolutely perfect. So if they can overcome some of those challenges, normally we're pretty good on the personality thing. But if they can overcome some of the physical thing and create that chemistry, yeah, the 14 couples who are successful now, that's what they
there are married at first sight babies that are out there.
Yeah. I'm so exciting. Yeah, we have about 10 or 12 babies now. Yeah, and more to come.
And more to come. So when the show starts filming, firstly, there's a whole dynamic that people have to learn. They're living with cameras. Those cameras are following them in very intimate situations.
Man, I tell people over and over again, and I just talked to someone recently from the show, and I said, look, I told you these cameras are going to be in your face for 40 to 50 hours a week. I mean, AM to PM. Now, we don't interrupt your job. So if you're working, fine. We're not going to go to your jobs because we don't want you to lose your jobs. But if we have to film from the time you get to work, get home to like 10, and then be there in the morning, even in the housing, we will set up a little spot somewhere off where we can have the equipment and what have you. But we will definitely, I tell people, it's going to be intrusive. It's going to be tough. And I think that's the big difficulty, because when the lights come on and the cameras come on and they forget they're being filmed and then they start to be themselves, that's when it gets really crazy. But it's a very, very difficult process. But if you can get through this and overcome these challenges, you have built a serious foundation for your marriage.
Absolutely. And I see some of the ones that really put the work in and the experts' advice, that put in the work, and they communicate and compromise and do all the things that we sometimes struggle to do. You show very strong emotions, as do all the experts. You become very attached to the couples. I've seen you look disappointed. I've seen you look angry. I've seen you be dejected. And how do you get through your own personal feelings when you're rooting so hardly for them to make it work?
Yeah, and I got to work on these expressions, man, because it's
television.
Boy, man, I'm like, oh God. But it's tough because you do form, an attachment, and you do really want these couples to work because look, I know what a happy marriage looks like, and I know that, for the ones who have it now, on the show, who are married at first sight couples, they're experiencing it, but yeah, you get attached, and sometimes you have to pull yourself away. Dr. Pepper and I, from Nashville, Dr. Pia also is in that Nashville, and Devon Franklin. Every now and then we'll talk to each other, kind of talk each other off the roof. We'll help each other, and every now and then, even if we have to get some kind of counseling ourselves, just to stay balanced. But it's a toll. It can take a toll.
Well, you are available to these couples pretty much 24/7. You are really hands-on with them, helping them.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're mentioning that, because a lot of people ask the question, well, where are they? Where are they? Look, we're doing about 40 hours of filming a week, and that might be about an episode.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Maybe, And so everything that we're filming, you're not seeing. And all of our conversations, you're not seeing. I've been on the phone with people up to like 1, 2 a.m., helping them through their issues, So they're not, you're not seeing everything, but we're actually there. And it always amazes me. People on Twitter and Instagram and what have you, they're like, you guys, can't you see what's going on? Can't you see what's happening here? Well, duh, yeah. I'm actually there. I actually see a little bit better than you do. But
well, I just know that when I watch it and I see that couple that doesn't make it out of the 5 or the 4 or whatever, and I'm like, oh no, maybe they were. It's you guys have a lot of pressure. It's a hard job. I know that I'm not going to be this little queen here and give this show flack. We're waiting. You want good television? Where are the queer couples, Pastor Cal? They're going to.
Gosh, Robert. Look, let me tell you. That's a great question. It's a great question. It's something that we've talked about. Oh boy. Here's the thing that I want, that, and I'm firm on this, is that I don't want to match people just to match them to satisfy any demographic.
Right.
I don't want to match black couples just to say we have a black couple. I'm not going to match, any couple just to say we have that couple. We've had seasons where we had, very little diversity because the cities we chose just didn't have any. And so when it comes to an LGBTQ couple, it's going to be, if we find somebody, then great. But we don't want to put people together, just, hey, we have a token couple.
Yes.
I mean, that's more harm than good.
I completely, and the stereotypes about relationships, etc. You have a big platform and responsibility. Thank you for, you run a progressive church. You're very encompassing to all people, all couples. I see it on your show. You have like an open arms approach to people.
Oh, absolutely.
When you look at the world today, aside from the show, I'm sure you get asked this at the grocery store, at the car wash. What is your advice for single people dating? What are we doing as this generation when we have trouble finding someone?
First of all, man, I think that we're in a very strange environment, social environment, in that now it's like with the availability of dating, and I've had these conversations with my own children. The availability of people, you're swiping left and swiping right. I mean, and everyone's on Tinder, Bumble, Grindr, you name it, J-Date, Farmers Only, I don't know, whatever, they're all over the place. But here's the thing. I think that we've sort of become disposable, and then we look at people as disposable. We don't spend time getting to know people anymore. That back in the day when I was single, I mean, you had to actually sit down and talk to people. You actually, it's like a swipe left, swipe right. And I know my own children are like so frustrated. My middle son, especially, so frustrated with the online dating scene. And I think that we have to get back to some of the, I hate to say it, some of the traditional values of just sitting down, talking to people and getting to know folk and dating and taking your time, and getting to know people from a values base as opposed to just, swiping. Go ahead, please.
When I was going to church, the priest growing up used to say, people don't fight long enough. You're ready to pack your bag and walk out the door. Sometimes you need to put in the work.
You got to put in the work, man. You got to put in the work. And, look, if marriage was that easy, everybody we'd have 100%, a success rate. Even though, in most countries, where there is arranged marriage, which is about 75% of the countries in the world, about 75% of marriages in the world, roughly 70 to 75, are arranged. And those marriages have roughly about a 90% success rate. And I think sometimes we get caught up because we're thinking about America, divorce is at 50%, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but that's not the world. Right. Because I think people marry for different reasons. For arranged marriage, you're connecting legacies, you're connecting family values, you're connecting, dynasties. I mean, you're getting together for a reason, and the romance will come. So, Married at First Sight is sort of a new take on that whole arranged marriage situation.
I love it. Well, if you're watching right now and you want some advice instantly within 48 hours, you could just. I might have bought the last hardcover copy today, but Marriage Ain't for Punks. You can get a no-nonsense guide to building a lasting relationship. It's available. You can get it on your Kindle. You can buy a hard copy. You can get it on his website.
Yes.
You wrote this book. Marriage is not for punks at all. I know it's hard work.
Yeah.
And did you take your own marriage, your own story, and all the stories that you've told, and you put it together and you put this little how-to guide for us?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. This book was a lot of fun to write because, as you said, I spent roughly about the last 30 years of talking to couples, and I've sort of taken a lot of that and just poured everything into this book. And it was a labor of love. And I'm really proud of the fact that we've heard so many people who have been benefited by it. It's, we try to cover everything that we can in it, but it's not possible. So there will be a follow-up book that'll be coming, but I'm really proud of it, and I think it's doing its job, to helping people, just to see that It's difficult, but if you can get through some of the major hurdles and have the grit and the intestinal fortitude to just push through your challenges, that it is so worth it. It is so worth it.
Oh man, Pastor Cal, you're gonna make me want to get married. All right.
Do it, Robert.
Listen, if you want more information, like we said, you can go to Pastor Cal's website. You can find him on Instagram, and everyone should be watch Married at First Sight. You could go on Amazon Prime Video. You could start from season 1, and you could literally watch the whole journey.
And in addition, oh, let me mention this also for Married at First Sight. We also have marriedatfirstsight.com. We're starting an app, and the app is for people who are already married, who need a marriage community. One thing that we found, my wife and I found, is that, look, the reason marriage is so difficult is because everyone's trying to do it alone. You need other people who can sort of lean on and help through some situations, other people who are going in the same direction. So marriageaidforpucks.com is actually, we're trying to build a marriage community where people can go and find help. They can go, and eventually after we've built it, it will flip into an app. But we want people to, whether you want to know how to buy a house, or whether you want to know, how do I overcome this particular obstacle? And it's also for people who want to be married. So it's not swiping. You actually have to do a questionnaire, and we're going to find the match for you. So you're not going, there's no swiping, there's none of that. Okay. We're going to find the match for you. And we're trying to change the game and turn this thing from a meat market to a mate market. So that's the goal here.
Oh my goodness, my heart it just grew a size for us as a society. Oh my, I'm going to put my father on it right away so he stops asking me to come over and help him. Please find a woman, Greg.
Oh my goodness. That's what's also beautiful about this, is that it spans the age groups. We're looking at, because a lot of apps, look, Tinder, I mean, you find some older people there. But what's interesting is that roughly about 72% of all Tinder subscribers are male. And the majority of Tinder, the majority of Bumble, the majority of all they're male, and so it is kind of a meat market. And no disrespect to any of those. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But we want to do something else.
That's amazing. I'm so excited to hear how that goes and to tell people about it. You're such a pleasure. It was a real honor to talk to you, because I really love the show and I love the advice you give, and
thank you.
Give a lot of hope to a lot of us. So we'll be watching and we'll be looking forward to it. And I appreciate you so much for being here. Everybody, make sure you check out Married at First Sight. Go to the website. Go follow Pastor Cal on and look, he could counsel you. He can marry you. He does it all.
There you go. One-stop shop.
One-stop shop. Oh, we got stuck. I got frozen. How great is that? Aren't they great? They make me, you hear me repeat the same thing. Apparently I want to get married again. No, I mean, yes, I do. And apparently I want my dad to date. That seems to be a recurring trend. Darius, can Pastor Cal do your wedding? I got the hookup. Don't you worry. I can make that happen. Easy. I can have Pastor Cal and Dr. Schwartz Pepper, Dr. Pepper, do it together. Thank you, Christine. Terrific advice and great tips on the love and relationships from Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal. It is interesting. You should check it out. Yes, hi, Kev. Hope you're enjoying spring break. If you want to check out next week's show, we're celebrating the Earth. Mama Earth herself will be here with Tom Chapin, 3-time Grammy Award winner, and Lucy Kaplansky. They're doing a show at City Winery, and we're going to promote it, and we're going to talk about why it's important to keep our earth healthy and clean. And then Kendall Ray is here, an 8-year-old farmer from Georgia who's planting kale and collard greens to help change the world. We're celebrating the earth next week. After that, Robert and Kristen Lopez are going to be here. He's an EGOT winner. They'll be here. Montana Tucker did her chance to be here. We have shows with the cast of Dear Evan Hansen. We have a drag show. We have Kelly Price. We have Lisa Fisher. We have Gloria Gaynor. We have so many shows coming. I hope you enjoyed Married at First Sight. It's been great to be with you all. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy. I'm going to enjoy the last few moments. I hope to see you at the Broadway Lecture Series. I hope to see you in June, and I hope to see you next week. God bless you. Take care of one another. See you then. Bye.